KIC'S tutorials. In this class, we'll be talking about symbolization of alleles. So I'm going to be telling you the different methods of symbolizing alleles. The first so the first method here would be the uppercase. The uppercase, lowercase scheme. In this method, English alphabets are used to represent alleles, where uppercase letters represent dominant alleles and lowercase letters represent the recessive alleles. For instance, this and this. Let's assume this is these are the alleles for flower color. So this uppercase R will represent the dominant allele, and the lowercase the recessive allele. Usually in this method, the symbol of the gene is usually derived from the name of the recessive allele. That is, for instance, in humans, albinism is a recessive trait, or a trait that is caused by a recessive allele in the homozygous condition. So if we were to represent that in letters according to this method, we have this lowercase a representing albinism, and the higher case a representing normal skin color. So that is how alleles are symbolized in this method. So that would a heterozygous individual or a hybrid would thus have this genotype according to this method. Okay, on to the next method, which is the Wildtype scheme. In this method, first of all, let me explain or remind us what Wildtype is. Wildtype refers to the allele or phenotype. If it's a Wildtype phenotype, the phenotype that is most commonly found in individuals in a population. So Wildtype allele is the allele that is most found or most commonly found in the individuals in a particular population. So let me use the instance of fruit flies, Drosophila melanogaster. That's a scientific name for fruit fly. In fruit flies, the Wildtype flies are those that have red eyes and large wings. So any other fruit fly that does not have the red eyes and does not have large wings is considered a mutant. So in terms of eye color, for example, the red eyes are referred to as the Wildtype and the white eyes are referred to as the mutants. Now, fruit fly genes are named based on the mutants, are named according to the mutants, and usually uppercase letters represent dominant mutation and then lowercase letters represent a recessive mutation. And usually the wild type are given the symbol of the mutant with a plus as a superscript. Let me illustrate that. Let's say the eye color that I used before. We have white eyes, like I said, as the mutant, and since this is a recessive mutation, I'm using a lowercase w. So the wild type would be this. Which is the red eye allele. So mutant, that's only this symbol, and wild type, the symbol with the superscript plus sign. So next, also for, let's say, a dominant mutation, we have, yes, some flies that are hairless. That is a dominant mutation, so it will be denoted by H. I told you the gene is named according to the mutants. So hairless, it being a dominant mutation, higher case. So this would be the mutants. And then the wild type will be given this symbol with a plus. So with this, I believe you should understand what I'm saying. And sometimes you can see this. Let me use, you can see this instead of this is also allowed. If you don't want to use this, where the plus sign serves alone on its own without a base letter, serves as the symbol for wild type, but the mutant retains this normal symbol that represents it. Okay, the next method we have is symbolization of codominant alleles. Okay, usually codominant alleles are alleles that, when they occur in a hybrid or a heterozygote, they both express themselves in the phenotype. That is, one allele is not dominant over the other. They are both seen in the phenotype. So for this kind of alleles, how to represent them is use an uppercase base letter. For instance, this, if maybe we're referring to flower color, so to say, the base letter C, and then a superscript. The superscript can be any letter depending on the trait that you are focusing on. So this could be, for flower color, red. So this is the genotype of a homozygous red flowered plant, for instance, and then the homozygous white flowered plant would have this, and then a heterozygous individual will have this. As if you were to cross these two individuals. Now, these uppercase letters are used to denote that these alleles can both express themselves to some degree even in the presence of the alternative allele. So that's why we are using the uppercase letters. Okay, let me give a practical example for like in the shorthorn breed of cattle. In the shorthorn breed of cattle, there's what is called roan coat color. They have the white coat color, the red coat color, and the roan coat color. And since this rhyme with what, let me just use this I've used before. Let's say this is the red, R for red coat color, W for white coat, and then this for roan coat. Okay, so this individual will be a homozygous cattle with red coat color. This will be a homozygous cattle with white coat color. So when the white coat cattle is crossed with the red coated cattle, you get an individual that has roan coat color. Now in this roan coat color, the cattle is seen with distinct patches of white or red, or white and red, sorry, where there are different patches. There are no hairs with a blend of the white and red. They are very distinct in their appearance. You see them like patches on the cattle. That is called roan coat. So this is how you would represent codominant alleles. Okay, there's also an extra method, though not commonly used. You can use this also for that method, but let me just mention it here. These are incompletely dominant alleles. Okay, for these ones, sometimes a base letter, an uppercase base letter, can be used, then with a subscript numeral, this or this. I told you is not very much in use, but some people do use it. So where if you had the red flowered plant, like I mentioned before, the genotype would be represented as this, and then the white flowered would be this. So but most times this method is used to represent incompletely dominant alleles. So that is it for today's class. I'm teaching you this because in the next class I'll be using most of these symbols so that you won't be lost on why I'm using a particular symbol for a particular let's say organism. So if you like this class, please don't forget to share with your friends, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this. Thank you for watching.